smoke. Breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you. And the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control.
Around straight hours, I wouldn't want to be on the lower time frames at that point.
No chance.
And obviously, like you said in the morning, you don't want to be getting up trying to navigate the morning drive
No.
at 3 a.m.
Imagine just be like, yeah, Trey's 2 hours away, but I've got to get my coffee in at 3 a.m. Let's go. Like, I just couldn't, it's not sustainable. We'll do it for 2 weeks and you just get fed up. So I'd rather get the sleep and then perform well throughout the day.
It just seems like the people that are at a high level, they're all kind of doing that. And I was like, okay, I'm not at their level yet, but I might want to just listen to what they're saying, even if I don't quite understand it. So it's just being really sensitive and open to stuff that you might not necessarily make at that point in time.
Yeah.
We've also got to understand that. I've also got to understand that there's certain things that, certain levels that I haven't reached yet, that I might not make decisions to the best of my ability unless there were other people that I could listen to and see whether it's trodden.
What's up and welcome to today's vlog. So it's just gone 2 p.m. here in the UK, Friday the 29th of Jan. My mate has just been funded this morning, so he's now become a funded trader. I'm excited to catch up with him. We're just about to jump on a quick call with him now. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to offer some tips, answer your questions, run through the entire afternoon. Should be good to end out the week, so let's get on with that right now.
Service for 079.
Well, he's not picking up. Right, as promised in last time's video, we're going to do a couple questions. So a couple good questions that you guys sent in over comments, so I thought I'd answer them and we'll keep this going. So any more questions, drop them down below and we'll of course answer them as these vlogs continue, and it's going to be sick. So hopefully it provides a lot of value over time and you can come back to these and reevaluate and stuff like that, so it should be good. So the first one is, so we've got quality videos always, I appreciate that. Can you share how you react to massive drawdowns and how you solve the emotional and psychological problems of the drawdown? It's a good question. I think the first point with this, just off the top of the dome, is know your data. If you know that within your data, like I showed in the previous video, if you know that you have a max drawdown of say 3% on one pair, and then you're trading, 3 pairs in total, then you could have a max drawdown of at any one time of 4% before the winners start kicking in. So if you know that in the back of your mind, even if you're 2% down, it's a bit like, make sure you're following to the plan and make sure you're taking every single trade you should. But it's almost that confidence that you need to draw into conclusion the fact that, okay, well, I've been in 4% drawdown within my testing, within my data, so this is just a natural course of evolution of actually the probability model itself. So you never know when the winners. The thing is, I got told a piece of advice a while ago, and it's a really good piece of advice. You don't know your sequence of wins to losses. You could take 4 wins followed by 4 losses. You could take 4 losses followed by 1 win, followed by 1 break even, followed by another 3 wins. So you don't know what that sequence is, so you're never going to be able to try and guess it. But as long as you've got that foundational data in place for that currency pair, then that's the best thing you can honestly do, because that's going to help you cope and realize, okay, well, am I doing something wrong here, or am I sticking to the plan, and diversify and differentiate between the two. So that's important. The next thing that I don't want to go too much into another question, but here's why I've narrowed down my pairs. I used to trade like 25, 28 pairs. And the thing is that number one, I can't take every single trade. You can't monitor 25 pairs, 28 pairs. And that's why I used to filter out the top 6 or top 8. But it's very, very subjective that way, I find, looking back in hindsight. So for me right now, if I'm trading 5 pairs or 3 pairs, there's a lot less variance of results because you've accumulated data on those 3 pairs. So if you've got max drawdown pound dollar 2%, max drawdown pound yen 3% at any one time that coordinates with those dates, then like I said before, you can have a max drawdown 4%. If you're trading 3, 4, 5 pairs, that's not really a problem. But then you start adding in 9, 10, 20 pairs. It's a lot of variance. If you're taking, that's when, in my opinion, you can take massive drawdowns potentially. Not always, because most of the time the probability model will play out, but you're going to get periods where your strategy doesn't perform, or you're just in a drawdown period, so it's recognizing between the two. But that's one of the reasons why I've narrowed down pair, to cut that variance down of the results. Right, next question is a good question actually. This best advice you would give someone, specifically for someone who is under 18 and actually serious about trading. Okay, so the number one point I would say with this, there's a few points to touch on. So number one would be careful who you spend your most time with. There's a common quote that you've probably heard: you are the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. It's especially true at that age too. You've come out of school, you come out of college, you may or may not be in uni as well. Be careful about the people you spend time with. Not that they're, you've got to be careful if they're smoking every weekend, if they're drinking every weekend, if they're doing this and that and getting old, up to no good. Like, got to be careful around those kind of people, because yeah, it can be fun short term and stuff, but you don't realize what that can lead down into 5 years down the line. Thankfully I was very switched on at that age to the fact that I knew who I wanted to spend time with and who I didn't want to spend time with, and who I wanted to limit time with. But for those of you who haven't got to that stage yet, just be careful around the people you spend time with. It's fine every so often, go out, enjoy life, just enjoy life, but there's a line in the sand as well. So just be smart with that, especially if you want to go down trading, because you're going to want to have a good group of people around you who support your dreams, support your goals, support your future in trading. Don't be worried if they don't see it right away. Just know that they're the right people and they've got good intentions for you. That's the best thing I'll say. Yeah. The second point of this question, just to answer quickly, the most important thing for me would be the first one. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. Super important, whatever age you are, especially at that age, because you're building a foundation for yourself. But number 2 would be, soak up as much knowledge as you can from a mentor or mentors. So for example, if you join a course or something, soak up that knowledge, get as much knowledge as you can, apply the knowledge, test it, experiment with it, and start to build that foundation. You never realize that course could be, it could equal to 30% of your entire skill set. So take that 30% seriously, but also realize down the line that 30% you can have a max out on that. Here's the way I look at it. I've explained this before, but I'm going to do it again. Trading to me is imagine 100% gauge, right? Now you could join one place, learn the strat, be completely fine. That can be enough on its own. So you can get people to max out on that 30%, or you can get 75% of the way through, and then want to experiment and tap into other knowledges within the market, different ways of trading, etc. That's kind of what I've done. And there's different approaches. It depends on you. So I would say that don't be afraid of in the future, as long as it's not too soon. Give things enough time. If you want to do other things and soak up more knowledge elsewhere, feel free to do that. It's just, there's a time and a place for everything. I'll say that. So yeah, I'm gonna finish off with that. I'm gonna get back to work and stuff. But then if you've got any more questions, drop them down below and we'll answer those in next time's video. So just wanted to give you a heads up in terms of where things are at on my end, what I'm working on, what I'm adjusting. There's always something happening trading wise, so I want to talk you through that so that you can kind of follow along as well. So obviously if you've been following along, I've got my main strat down, which has been good. I've got a sub strategy down. Now, a couple of different things to talk about here. With the sub strategy, I found it works very, very well on pound dollar. But for other pairs, I tested pound yen, Aussie dollar, and I've stopped at that right now. And I found that for the book, it still definitely works, but it's just not. It's not outstanding. It's nothing compared to pound dollar. So what I've chosen to do right now is just leave that as it is. Just leave pound dollar on the day trading substrat. And then what I'm going to do right now, coming this next week, is move back into my main strat and almost evolve that. Now I'm going to leave the strategy in place, but almost work on an additional. It's getting quite confusing. Hopefully you're not getting lost in this because it's getting to that stage now, but it's a lot simpler than what it is. Basically, right, the way I look at it right now is that if I've got two strats, because your knowledge of information is always adjusting, evolving, growing with the level of understanding in the market and yourself, it's always evolving, right? So if you've got a main strat, look at my situation, you've got a main strat and a substrat, right? If you worked on your main strat October and November time, by the time you finished on your substrat, you're almost going back to the main strat to adjust things and tweak things and evolve that. So because it's producing results, I'm leaving that how it is, but I'm almost looking as a way to combo the two styles together. So what I'm looking to do is almost have a swing perspective. So higher time frames in mind, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, but then use a minute time frame, sub 5 minute, to kind of get involved in the market. So almost looking at things in terms of scalping entry, but then looking to hold it on the 1 hour, likely into certain areas of value before then looking to take profit. And then I'm going to play around with a few different things, such as take profits, taking partials off. Like there's a few trailing stocks behind swing highs, which is the way I do it right now, mixed with take profits. So there's a few different things I want to test. And the interesting part about trading as well, if you think of it like this analogy just came to me before. Got so many different analogies, man, it's mad. Think of trading like a game, right? So Mario Kart, whatever it is, think of trading like a game. So when you come into a game, you've got different levels, right? So you've got level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, plus same thing with trading. The more you start to digest that and understand that, the more it becomes true. Obviously on a basic level, you know it's true anyway, but start to think about it a little bit more, Level 1s, when you come into the market, you see things from a level 1 perspective. You can't come into the market and see things from a level 5, level 6, level 7 perspective because you haven't gone through those upgrades, those changes, evolvements, setbacks, failures, the amount of times you've lost the game and gone back to the beginning. You haven't been through that yet. So trying to see things from a level 5 trading perspective, you almost can't resonate with it yet because you're not at that level. But with level 5s, the good thing about that is because they've had that prior experience, they can go back and think back to level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5, and almost use that to their advantage. So they can see how level 1 traders are going to be trading, and not to say use that to their advantage, but they can use that knowledge and be like, okay, this is where typical beginner newbie traders will be getting involved in the market because of this, and these factors. How can I almost use that to my advantage? Not get caught out when the beginner traders are, and then when the beginner traders are thinking it's going to go in a certain direction, almost use that and then trade. I don't want to say against them because it sounds very negative, but you get what I'm saying, right? So almost using that experience to your advantage. So it's an interesting concept. Definitely think about that because it just came to me before. But trading is levels, and there's people on level 25, so it's just going through the levels constantly, continuously, and just learning, picking up things from different levels before you then get to upgrade into level 3, 4, 5, 6 and beyond. So yeah, but I'm getting on with the rest of the day and I'll catch up with you all soon.